welcome to the Stealthy Crafter. I'm Jessica, and today we are doing a Wip Chat. If you are new here and you don't know what Whip stands for, it stands for Work in Progress, and what that normally means is that you can bring out your own whips or whatever it is that you want to do, be it chores, driving, resting on the couch, whatever, as you listen to me chat along and ramble about what's been going on in my week. With that said, let's get started, shall we? So, hope you guys are doing okay. It's been a little bit over a week since I've posted, done a Whip and Chat. To be honest, was able to post a couple of videos last week. Wanted to do a little bit more, but I didn't have time to prepare everything before my surgery, my mouth procedure. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing alright. It's kind of cold today, to be honest. I'm surprised about how cold it is. Like, it dropped compared to earlier last week. It was like nice in the 70s and everything, and I was just kind of enjoying it. And then now it's, I think it's the high supposed to be 50, but feeling like 46 or something like that. We woke up today and it was like, oh, it is 30 degrees and it feels like 26. And I'm just like, what is this? Because not even just a few days ago, the low was like 50 or something. So I'm kind of like trying to get used to the cold right now. So I'm all bundled up. I got fuzzy socks on, but I don't know how long this Whip and Chat will be. I know I say that a lot, but I kind of mean it, since I'm kind of trying to condense 2 weeks worth of stuff. And also, my even though my mouth feels a lot better, it still gets sore after I talk for a period of time. I guess because of the position where they put the implant. So, I might have to stop and come back to this in a little bit. But let's see. I did try and write some notes down, but I've forgotten a lot of stuff. A lot of the stuff was like I had to like try and remember off the top of my head because I didn't write it while I was in pain. Excuse me. But let's see. I know I left you guys off on Halloween. I was wishing everyone a happy Halloween, so I hope you guys did have a good one. Um, we had a definitely good one. The kids definitely enjoyed themselves. Um, Michael and Jana were able to go with my husband, and they went to go trick or treat. While Nicole went with her friend, and I had an eye on her. I have like um it's Gab wireless, so I'm able to keep track of her, like wherever she's walking around, and plus keep tabs on her just to make sure she's okay. Um, but she was having fun. I don't know if I enjoyed myself quite so much being at home. I don't know if it's because of the lack of decorations or what, but I noticed the little kids. Oh my goodness, the little kids were so cute with their little twinkle tweet. I was enjoying that, and but it seemed like the kids all like my oldest daughter's age, like Michael and Jana's age and Nicole's age. They seem to be the grabbiest, and then the teenagers, they were okay. They were like polite and everything. I'm like, I was just surprised about the ones that were definitely in my kids' age group, about how like I'm right here giving candy and they're grabbing, like I'm like, excuse me, I'm handing you candy. You don't need to grab into the bucket. um but that was kind of like the whole weird thing, it felt like. uh but yeah, I was just like, I got to see a couple of my neighbors' kids all dressed up. My neighbor next door, she has a cute little 1.5 year old, and she, this is her first year trick or treating. She was in the stroller last year while her older brother and sister got to trick or treat, so she didn't really know what it was all about. She was barely 6 months old at the time, so this year she was all like, I handed her a piece of candy, and apparently her mom says that she loves candy. So like once she realizes that people are giving her candy just because she's dressed up, oh my goodness, she told me that her kid walked everywhere like this little this little toddler just like going all over the place and just sticking her bucket out and goes tweet. It's so cute. Oh my goodness. I mean, like, it's not as adorable, of course, when the kid's older, but it's cute because you see that little spark of like realization and like, oh my goodness. But yeah, it was cute. According to my husband, he dressed like Cat in the Hat, and not really. We found like this old adult costume in our when I was cleaning up a little bit, and it was like a Cat in a Hat costume, but he only wore the hat and the gloves and then like the bow tie. So, and I wish I really got a picture of that. I didn't, but I really wish I did. Cuz it was cute. But Nicole didn't get to see that, unfortunately. If I go back a little bit, so what happened that day was the kids came home all excited, of course, because Halloween's happening. Um, Nicole, she's like, basically kind of going back and forth because apparently, if I think of when I last left you guys off, there was like a wicked stomach bug that was going around the area, and it seemed to caught her friend at the time. So she wasn't sure if she was going to go trick or treat with her friend or not, and she was kind of promising her brother and sister. We've gotten on to her about this since then, because she's done something like this a few more times, where she promises her brother and sister something, and then she goes back on it like multiple times, and we're like, no, you can't keep doing that. It's not cool. But at this point, she's like, "Well, I'll be trick or treating with you guys. Instead, it looks like let's go do this together." I'm like, "Okay," and then her friend calls, and then I'm like, "Oh my goodness." Her friend calls, and apparently she feels better enough to go trick or treating. She claims that it wasn't the stomach bug. She claims that it was apparently her friend doesn't like candy corn, and they had like a project at school where you used candy corn for something, and eating the candy corn made her sick. And I'm just thinking, okay, I really don't want to dash her hopes, but okay, she can go to her friend. Just it's fine. so so I let her go with her friend. Friend apparently seemed to be perfectly fine, but my husband really hated the fact that he had to drive across the not town, but the other side of the neighborhood, because it's a big neighborhood, and it was already busy. I was already having trouble. I was trying to put makeup on Nicole. Nicole waited to the last minute because I was just like, all right, let's go and let's start, putting makeup on. And she's just like doing her own thing. She's talking to her friend. She's, just wandering around. I'm like, kid, I gotta put on makeup. And when it was time, I couldn't do it properly. So I had to make her wipe it all off. And she was so upset. I'm like, well, if you did what I've asked, you probably would have gotten that makeup on sooner, and it would have been a little bit nicer instead. So, I mean, you gotta learn. She learned her lesson, but she still looked pretty cool in her Halloween costume. She was like a ghost or ghoul or something like that. So she definitely enjoyed herself. Excuse me. And then with the twins, they were like kind of. I'm trying to set up, and they were like, they were climbing up the walls because they're waiting for my husband to come back after driving her to the neighborhood. Normally that's like less than a 5-minute thing. It was like a 30-minute thing to come back home to, because the streets were filled at the front of the area. Our neighborhood is. I know some of our neighbors. Excuse me. I want to take a sip of water. All right. I know some of our neighbors don't like this, but our neighborhood's a pretty. Our neighborhood's like kind of takes in all the other neighborhoods around the area because of how big it is. Okay, this one doesn't want to stick in. Let's see. All right, let me just use some tweezers and see if I can make it stick there. But yeah, our neighborhood's pretty big. It covers well, I wouldn't say covers, but I mean, like, so we have a couple like other neighborhoods that are kind of like on the rural end, and they don't get too many trick or treaters, so parents normally bring their kids over here for trick or treating, and I don't see that as a big deal. I've done that too. When I was, excuse me, when I was trick or treating, um, when I was a kid, we when I grew up, I had like a street to go to, and no one trick or treat on that street. So what my sister and I usually did was like just walk 2 streets over, and it's considered a different part of the town, and we just trick or treat there. That was our main area that we trick or treat. I mean, we normally walk there to go to school anyway, so it's kind of a place that we already knew like pretty well. So I wasn't upset about it. So it's just like more the merrier. It just means that, kids are having fun and that, they're not causing trouble. And I have the same opinion about teenagers too. I don't mind that teenagers come to my house and ask for candy, because to me, they came by and they're going trick or treat. That means that they're not causing trouble in my mind. I trick or treated as a teenager, and then I got to use an excuse as my when my baby sister was born. I know that she was like, let's see, I was 16, and I still got to I got to take her out in this Winnie the Pooh costume, barely not even a year old. She's like 11 months old, and I used her to get candy. I dressed up. I dressed up all the time. A lot of times I dressed up as a vampire, but I remember I was like into Yu-Gi-Oh that one year, and I tried my best to dress up as Yugi. Trying to spike my hair out and stuff like that. I was able to spike my hair a good bit, but I couldn't like get the colors in. But I was just like, I was really trying. I got the cape and everything like set, but yeah, I used her as a prop to get candy. I was like, yeah, let's do this. I'm having fun. um, but yeah, I don't mind teenagers coming to my house. They go, as long as they're polite and they're going trick or treat, here you go, have some candy, kid. um, and that's what really happened. Like I said, a lot of the teenagers that came by didn't really cause a lot of ruckus, not so much. Some of them were all giggly and stuff like that with inside jokes, and like whatever. But but they seemed to be pretty happy about the fact that I would give each of them like a sucker and then 2 pieces of candy. But I didn't prepare myself. I thought we had enough candy for everyone. We didn't. I ran out by 7:30. I was so upset because I was hoping that there'd be some leftover candy for me, but there wasn't. I saved myself like a caramel apple lollipop because I've been really wanting to eat one of them, and I was like, oh man, I get to eat this before my surgery, so that way I can actually have a lollipop, and yeah, didn't happen. It didn't happen at all, guys. I was so sad. Because I just felt guilty. I wanted to make sure, like, this group of kids, it was at one point, I was just giving a piece of candy to everyone. I felt bad. But yeah, I had to close up shop at 7:30 and go inside. And it wasn't too long before the other kids came home. Nicole kind of messaged me around 7:20 saying that she was on her way back, and then I told her, I looked at her location. I told her that she can keep going trick-or-treating on the way back. She didn't just have to walk home, but she can trick-or-treat on the way back if she didn't stop at any of those houses. So she did, and she came home before her brother and sister did. Her brother and sister came home about 8 o'clock, and they were just so excited with their loot, and my poor husband's just looking, oh, I'm so tired. And I was like trying to convince Nicole at that time to go and get a shower in, because even though I didn't get the makeup right, I did get her hair done. I sprayed it gray, and then I had like glitter all over in it, so she really liked that. But I was like trying to convince her to go take a shower before her siblings came home, so that way the shower would be open, because school was still happening the next day. I'm like, they're staying up a little late. They need to go to bed. Come on. um, but yeah, that was Halloween, and I I didn't realize I was gonna talk that long about Halloween. Whoops. Then the next day, it was a busy week. Not last week, but that week of Halloween. It was really, well, probably not busy, but there was just a lot of stuff happening. So so that Tuesday, on Halloween week, not last Tuesday, I had my mother-in-law visit. Um, my husband had to go into work for a mandatory like after evening meeting, and my husband figured he might as well just go in for the entire day, see people he hasn't seen in like 2 or 3 years, meet the new higher ups and all that kind of stuff. He kind of says he misses it, but then he doesn't miss it because he doesn't have his desk anymore because he's fully stay at home, so he had to work at the not cubicle, but it's like this table that they have for people who come in, and he just kept getting interrupted by people. He was like trying to be in meetings and he just could not focus. And he's like, "Oh yeah, this is why I didn't like coming into the office, because everyone wants to talk to him and interrupt him, and he never gets work done until everyone leaves to go home, and then he stays there late to get the work done and then comes home late." Now he just works late, but at least he's able to do some work when he's home. Oh man. But yeah, he was exhausted when he had to do all that. I was actually surprised that he came home a lot earlier than. Yeah, I was surprised he came home earlier than what I was thinking, because he has a coworker who loves to chat her head off, and I knew that the mandatory thing was ending like. I want to say 5:30, 6:30 ish. So I was like, well, if he goes out and hangs out with his work buddies, he probably won't be home till 10 ish. They might want to do like dinner or have some drinks. No, he came home about 7:30, 8, 7:30, I think. I was really surprised. He was just like, I just want to go home. And he brought me a caramel apple that was at the place. He works with a lot of. He's in IT, but his company deals with food and everything. Excuse me, sorry. So yeah, so they have like a lot of food stuff. So it was like this chocolate caramel apple. I didn't realize it was caramel. It was just because it was like this huge apple and it just was dipped in chocolate. I couldn't eat it because the next day was my surgery. But I was like, and I wasn't like hungry at that point. I was like, no, I'm not too hungry. I'll try and eat it another time. And I was just like thinking, dang it. There was no, because he was like talking up a big game about something else, and they all disappeared before he got to that table. And I was just darn. But yeah, I had my mother-in-law. She was over here, so that way she could help get the kiddos and everything to pick them up for school, after they finish school and everything. So we spent the day here, and good Lord. Not as in bad good Lord, but I'm still laughing about what happened. And I'm pretty sure she would chuckle too after I talk about this. But she had a video because she does diamond painting, and she has her own channel and everything too. So she's a lot better at keeping on time with all of her videos and everything. I feel like I never have the time for anything with everything going on in this house. So she at one point decided she was going to start a video, and I was just like trying to be as quiet as possible on the table, because I set us up over at the dining room table, and I'm like trying to be quiet as a mouse so that way I'm not interrupting her videos or anything like that. And then she starts talking about a diamond painting event that's coming up that she's going to be doing, and I don't remember what the hashtag is, but I remember it was like big butts. And the moment she says big butts, I turn my chair to face the wall and I silently laugh because I'm trying not to be rude, right? I'm trying to, trying to be, a polite person, right here. And she notices this. And you probably can kind of hear the chuckle in her voice when she's in the video. She does it when during her video. This is like over 2 weeks ago now though, but but she starts saying it over and over just to try and get me to laugh out loud. And here I am, my shoulders are starting to just silently jiggle up and down, like that's trying so hard not to laugh. I'm like, At one point, she shakes the table because she's chuckling, and my coffee cup kind of does this little noise, and I catch it, and I'm just like, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh. I tried so hard. I succeeded though. I succeeded. I did my best. But afterwards, we counted how many times she said big butts. And I think it was like 10, maybe 11 times. I think it was 10. But I feel like I got rewarded. She says it was an early Christmas present, but she got me this pin from one of her unboxings. So she got in like a let's see, it was like more like a pinkish iridescent one. So she handed me her purple one because she knows I like purple. But it was really nice of her, and it glows in the dark, guys. I love it. I don't know if the light catches it very well, but there's like so many different kinds of shapes in here. It's like all sorts of confetti. There's moons and stars. I saw a little bunny rabbit right here. And there's hearts over here, circles. I mean, like, there's so many different confetti things, and I love it. And I'm just like, I've been using it from time to time. So, it's a little like if I use it in certain spots, it's like hurts my wrist a bit. But I think it's just because I press too hard. But that's okay. All right. Oh man, this might be a long video if I know, and I might have to stop for a moment because my mouth's hurting just a little bit already. And I haven't really gotten anywhere with this. Good lord. I've been talking to you more than I placing the drills down. Let's see. I gotta focus. But yeah, the kids were excited to see their Nana. They were so happy. She stayed home while her husband came by, and we went to go pick up the kids, and they were just like pointing pointing things out to everyone. It was so cute. And then like one of the teachers, it's like, you're confusing me with all these car changes, because at one point, oh my goodness, this one has a tab on it too. Into the trash you go. Uh-oh. Alright, yeah, this is the correct drill. And I missed where I put it. Uh-oh. I don't know where it went. We'll figure it out. Oh, I think. Here we go. That's the spot. And then this one has the tab, and it goes in the trash. But, goodness, my brain. I need to think. Let's see. Oh, so yeah, the teacher, I confused her a bit because we have a small car that we were given to, and we were using that for a while because our minivan, at the time was like broken down, so we stopped driving in the minivan, and then we got a new car, and we've been driving in that. And now we were in my father-in-law's car. So and yeah, a little bit of rapid span of everything. Kind of, yeah, it was a little confusing, but it was kind of funny at the same time. But yeah, she was like, "You're confusing me with all this," and I'm like, "I'm sorry." But yeah, the kids overall, they were really happy. I invited them to stay over for dinner, but it's the running joke. They wanted Mexican food. They unfortunately didn't get it because it wasn't open by the time they went to the store. So not the store, but by the time they left, my father-in-law was really hungry and wanted to eat, and they thought it was open, but it wasn't. So they went to Olive Garden instead. I was like, oh man. At one point, my mother-in-law was trying to convince him to stay home because I was making sloppy joes, and he's like, no, I'm really hungry right now, because I was like, I can just pull out another pack of meat and start cutting more. I can always cut more onions and red peppers and everything like that. So he's like, no, I'm really craving this. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm so jealous because they've been going more often than I've been. um, but let's see. But yeah, that was that Tuesday, and then the next day was Wednesday, and that was my dental appointment. I'll try not to talk like squeamish details of it. I'm not gonna. I don't want to dwell on it too much. But man, I was such a nervous wreck that day. I was just. It was bad. Like my husband took half a day off. He couldn't get the whole day off, but he took half a day off to make sure that I was able to, so he could help take care of me and get me set at home in case any complications and stuff like that. But I went in like really nervous. I forced myself to eat something that day because I knew I wasn't going to really eat too much afterwards. But I barely ate. I was like not really eating. And he's like, my husband's like, you really need to eat. I'm like, I know. So I ate like, I don't remember what it was, but it was something small, and I drank some coffee, and then brushed my teeth and all that before I left. But I got there, and I got there early. So we were in super early this time. And I sat down. I got myself checked in. I paid for everything, gasping at the charge because even though I knew how much it was going to cost, I was still, oh my god, that's so expensive. And let's see, what else? So yeah, it was really quick. They got me in, and the dentist just started talking to me. He's like, he noticed that I was kind of shaking shaking really bad, but he's like, don't worry about these. I've done thousands of them. And it's like, yeah, I know, but I'm still nervous. And it didn't help too, because the assistant that he had was brand new, guys. But she had like another assistant that was like watching what she was doing and directing her. So it wasn't so bad, and she was so helpful. The new assistant, she was like really trying to help me, but they were really quick compared to like the ones that I work with in that office. I don't know if it's just because they're only there part of the time or anything, but they didn't even So my appointment was 9 o'clock. And I got pulled back early, and I saw the clock, and it was 8:57 when they put the chair back to start, numbing me up. And I was just like, dang. And even the whole numbing shots was quick. I mean, I knew that, with all the stuff that I've gotten, all the work done on my mouth, that, it numbs quick. But I didn't realize how quick it was going to numb. That this one was numbing. It was like the super kind. It felt like, but yeah, he started numbing my gums and stuff like that, and I'm like immediately start wincing, and I'm just like trying not to think about it. And then the assistant, she starts patting me on the shoulder, like really, not like rough, but like, enough so that way I'm focusing on that. She goes, breathe in, breathe out, focus on the tapping of my hand, and I'm like, trying to do that. And then he gets to the roof of my mouth, and I immediately wince. I'm like, I couldn't help it. I try not to. And she goes, would you like to hear me talk about my cats? And as I go, and the dentist goes, no one wants to hear you talk about your cats. And I'm like, gosh. So she starts talking to me about her cat. She's like, "What? You don't want to hear about I already forgot what her cat name was, but basically her cat got himself locked into the washing room and then set himself free by opening the door. It was a fun story. I enjoyed it very much, but I was like thinking to the dentist, like, you can't tell her not to do that. I want the story. I want the story. I don't want to focus on this pain. um, but yeah, but it was really quick. He numbed me, waited like literally a minute, and then went back in to numb again in certain different areas, and then just started. So I mean, I'm not going to talk about the whole thing, but I will say the beginning part was the worst part, I think, and then the last. Um, the drilling wasn't so bad compared to like whenever I get fillings in a root canal. I'm going to take another sip, sorry. But yeah, whenever I get my root canals and stuff like that, that's usually the worst part, is that drilling part. Um, it wasn't as loud as those drills at all, which I was surprised by it. It's just more the sounds of like what they were doing to get to the part to the drill. I don't like listening to that, and it's just ugh. So I'm not going to talk about that. Like I said, I'm not going to try and get too many details, but it was just the first part was the worst in my opinion. And not like pain, it's just things, how things felt and everything. And that one had a tab too. Goodness, we gotta dig that out. There we go. I don't know where it went. I'll pick it up whenever I find it. But I was doing okay. I think at there was a certain point though I started shaking at a leaf. He said he said the word 15, like because she was trying to hand him something. He goes, not until I say 15, 15 more or something like that. And I think it was like 15 minutes or something like that. I don't know. But when he said that, it's like, I guess the adrenaline kicked in or something like that way for me. And I started shaking like a leaf all over. Like I could not stop shaking. I was doing fine. It was already, this was like, almost at the very end of the whole procedure, and I just started shaking, and he was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I don't know why. I was like, my body kind of just freaked out or something. It was after they put the implant in, and he was like starting to, check everything, and but yeah, he's like, he had to make sure that I was okay. I was really freaked out. But yeah, the whole thing, I was told that it was going to take an hour, maybe an hour and a half if it was complicated. Guys, it only took 30 minutes. I was out at 9:30. I was like, dang. He was like, yep, this, he was like, it was easy, it was painless, especially because of the location where he had to put the implant. He goes, yeah, everything went through smoothly. And he just basically said that it was funny. They didn't give me any like aftercare instructions when I had the consultation, but like he definitely did the aftercare stuff there. And it was just like he didn't want me to eat on this side for an entire month. I don't know what I'm going to do, guys, because that's the side that I prefer to eat. So I can't eat there for an entire month. And then I was supposed to be on a liquid diet, and he didn't mean like pure liquids, but stuff like milkshakes, yogurt, puddings type consistency, instead for 2 days. Oh my god, those 2 days were the roughest. I wanted to eat so bad and I couldn't. It's just like nothing felt filling at all. I was always like hungry, and all I had was tapioca pudding. Nothing wrong with tapioca pudding. I love tapioca pudding, but there's only so much you can eat before you're sick of it. And I had yogurts and stuff like that. It's just the consistency was just getting tiresome. All right, one more sip. But the weird thing was, I was in a lot of pain, but I was hungry, ish, and my husband got me some coffee, so that way I could drink it. I couldn't drink through a straw, obviously, so um, I waited till we got home so that way I could pour it into a cup so I could drink it. Um, and it felt so nice because it was iced coffee, so I was able to just sip it and put the cold drink up against my cheek. But yeah, I didn't sleep at until like the kids came home. Like my body would not let me sleep. I passed out right after they came home. I was just like at a certain point, my body was just like, okay, I think we're done freaking out. We're gonna go sleep. And that's exactly what happened. I was on the couch. I didn't move a muscle. I felt bad because I didn't really help them out with their homework, and my husband had to take over. Even though he only took half a day off, he was like he got them dinner, he got them ready for bed, he did all that stuff, and it was just I really appreciated it because I couldn't I was passed out. I woke up right as the twins were going to bed, and I felt really bad for that because I was just like, I'm so sorry. He goes, don't be, you're in pain. And I was in pain for a couple days. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, horrible pain, but it wasn't the best fun. Um, but let's see. But the next few days were kind of a blur, only because um, I was trying to deal with the pain that was coming from my jaw, and then like my body just kept wanting sleep. Like throughout the entire time, I was just like, I need to sleep. I need to sleep. I need to sleep. Like I would be awake after a nap. I think it was like literally Thursday, maybe Friday. I woke up. I went after we dropped the kids off. I woke up after that nap. I came downstairs. I got in a cup of coffee. I sat here to try and do a little bit of diamond painting. And I think I worked maybe 30 minutes an hour, and my body was like, you need to go to bed right now. And I was just like, I went right back on the couch and I slept till the kids came home. It was like that. I was like, my goodness, I was just not expecting like how much I would sleep the entire time. But I slept a good bit. It was really surprising about how often I slept. Let's see. Let's do this color. So, little talk about this. I'm working on her hair. It's Namaste. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like at my last square Orloa, my last one, there was like so many popping drills. I mean, like there's some of this too in here, but I'm able to prevent it a bit easier, I guess would be the best way to say. So it's not as bad, but I do have to do single placings because there's a lot of tabs where I just have to go, nope, that's not going to work. So that way I don't get it to pop. So it's doing a lot better. It's just going to be slow. I'm probably going to be stopping on this one. I'm trying to hit the halfway mark, but if I can get to this row, I'll be happy. But I wanted to get started on some of my Christmas stuff, like by the time Thanksgiving comes around, so that way I can have that done. So I might have to put this one up in a week or so. But I've been going really slow on this. I'm just taking my time. Been resting, and I really like her hair. So we got like some stars right here. And then there's a butterfly part over here. We got a couple other butterflies that's further up. And there's also a little star over here as well. And then there's like this big old butterfly that's over here, and then a flower that's like right in this little location. So I can't wait to get to that. I kind of want to get to her face, but if I don't, it's okay. Let's see. But yeah, that whole week like I said, I was pretty much out of it. I was just resting, sleeping. Doing whatever. I just felt like kind of like a zombie. But I was able to help take care of the kids by the weekend. But by the weekend, I was allowed to start eating solid foods, and I might have overdone it, to be honest. So Nicole was like asking to eat. We decided we're going to pick up because I was still not in the best mood to cook. I was still exhausted. So my husband's just like, why don't we just pick up something? And I was just like, he was going to get Mexican food. And Nicole was all like, I want Wendy's. And he was like, well, do you want Wendy's? I'm like, kind of, but I don't know if I really want to eat it, especially with my mouth still healing. And he was just like, okay, well, let's try it out, okay? And I'm like, okay, and he took this Wendy's. We're never going to go to again. We've always been having trouble with it. This Wendy's takes like an hour plus to get our food, even if there's like 2 or 3 cars. And I know with like the shortage and everything, it's understandable. But this manager or supervisor, I'm going to take one more sip. Sorry. She does it like this way. She takes your order, and then you're kind of sitting there for a bit. Well, she takes your order, then you get to go pull up to the window, and then she takes your payment, then she cooks your food, and then she hands you your food. And she doesn't take the next person's order until she finishes with that. And it takes a long time, especially when you got like 3 or 4 cars. And so what we think would be like a 10-minute thing turns out to be an hour thing. And when we got our food, it was cold and it wasn't really prepared. The chicken that I had wasn't fresh. You could tell that it was cooked earlier that day, and it was like hard and rubbery, and I was just like, I couldn't chew on it because, hey, my mouth. So I was really sad. Couldn't really eat much. Sorry. Goodness gracious. But yeah, it was like I was really sad I couldn't eat too much. And we're like, never again. We're not going to this place again. There's another Wendy's, like, we'll have to just go in an opposite direction. We just normally don't go to there because the area is not clean. When we went in there, holy cow, this was like 3 years ago, though. Like way before anything. It was just like, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, where we were like, we had to go in, and it was a mess. This is like when our car broke down. Yeah, we have a history of our car breaking down. It feels like. Let's see. Put this one up, and we're gonna break this one out. Let's see. Man, I haven't even gotten to last week, have we? Jeez. Let me look over here. I'm trying to see what else we've done. So we also got to play a couple of board games with the kiddos, which was great. And one of the things I started doing is like I'm trying to do like for weekends, I'm only going to cross stitch so that way I can get through some of my cross stitching. But last week, well, not last week, but the week during my whole surgery and stuff, I focused more on cross stitching instead of diamond painting, and I finally finished part 1 of the Dark Queen of the Earth from Autumn Lane Stitchery, and it's looking really good. I'm actually really proud of myself because I've only worked on Ada before, and I've never done anything higher than like 14 count Ada, so I'm like learning how to stitch on these really small holes, and I feel like I'm doing a decent job. I mean, like some of my work could be a bit better, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. Let's see. But I did post a picture of the part 1 that I finished on Instagram. I don't remember when. I haven't gone on Instagram in a hot minute. I need to do that. I've just been so focused on resting and everything. I should have, I guess, but yeah, but Sunday, I think like Saturday or Sunday, I was able to finish part 1, so now I'm starting to work on part 2 as part 3 got released. Oh man. But let's see, what else has happened? Let me look at my notes. So by the time last Monday, we're now catching up to, we're only 44 minutes, oh man. And we may have to take a small break, guys. But Last Monday, my mouth finally started feeling better, so I was able to eat a little bit more. And then I got hit with the news asking to basically ask me if I could babysit my neighbor's kid. And I was just like, sure, I guess. I don't mind. It's not too bad. It's just that, like, it was just more of an, I'm starting to feel better. The house is a mess. I wanted to start, actually, getting things done. And now I gotta do this. It wasn't too bad. So I got to sit my neighbor's kid. Like I said, she's only like a year and a half. She's adorable, and sometimes I forget how messy kids are. I mean, like it's been a hot minute. I mean, my own kids are messy in their own way. But she packs for this kid for lunch is Chef Boyardee, like ABCs and 1, 2, 3s with meatballs. Oh my goodness! And we don't have a high chair. We don't have like bibs or anything like that. So it's like I'm trying to make sure she doesn't make a mess everywhere. Oh my goodness! Oh man! But she loves to snack. This kid loves to snack around. So she's a big grazer, and like I tried to give her some of my pudding, and she was just like, mm-mm. And then comes back later, mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well, all right, here you go. Because I was like, all right. I had it on the table. I'm like, well, she took one bite. I'm not touching it. And then she comes back for more. um, but yeah, my husband that day also had jury duty, and the funny thing was the whole thing was supposed to start at 2 o'clock, and the kids get off at 2:15. So my husband figures he's just going to pick up the kids early for once. Just pick them up, just do it. And they get to stay home early. And it was funny, cause he does that. He drops them off, then he leaves. I'm still watching. At this point now, I'm watching 4 children. I can't get my any of my kids to do their homework because they're all like, "Baby's in the house! Oh my God, so cute and cuddly!" Oh, like that. So I couldn't get any of them to do any homework. It's like, focus, guys. Nope, they wanna play with the baby. So I was just thinking, okay, when school gets out, her mom's gonna come by and pick her up, and then I'll be able to get them to do their homework. I try to get them to do snacks. They try to give the snack to the baby. I'm like, no, 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 don't you do that. Oh my gosh, my kids. And the funny thing was, my husband came home before everything. It was like he came home at 2:30. I'm like, this would be the time the kids would come home normally. No, well, we would be picking them up. We would leave the house about 2:20ish, and then come home by 2:40ish. So it's kind of funny. He goes, yeah, the case dismissed it, so they sent everyone home. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. It doesn't, but it does. So it means he didn't have to like have extra days off or anything for this. So he picked me up some. Let's see. He picked up. I think he picked up some soda for me to drink because I was like really really wanting some. Like, let's see, what was it? Like, it's from KFC. The Sweet Lightning or something like that. It's Mountain Dew. I haven't really drank it too much. So he got me that, and I kept watching the baby, trying to, keep her occupied. It was really good that the kids came home, though, at the time they did, because I was starting to feel a little exhausted. Sorry. So she makes me want to have another and then not have another at the same time. She is like the most easygoing baby, though. Like, my kid, it was so funny because this is before my kids came home, but it was like nap time. She was telling me like she was ready for a nap. She was like walking around, shutting her eyes really tight and then opening them. And I was like, are you tired? Because she's not, she only says a few words. So I'm like, you want a nap? And she shakes her head. I'm like, are you sure? And she just she like shuts her eyes really tight again. And so I was like, okay, let's see where we're going to go with this. So I pick her up, I put her on the couch, and I gave her my fuzziest blanket that I have, my fleece blanket, and I wrapped her up in that. I had a couple of pillows from when I was still resting downstairs, so I grabbed a couple of pillows and laid her head on that, and I closed the blinds in the household. I pulled up YouTube and had that rain sound selection, and I started just playing that, and I scrolled on my phone for 10 minutes, and I looked up literally 10 minutes later, she's out. I'm like, my children never done that. They would talk, they would argue, they would fight with me to the bone. I love this kid. I love this kid. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it was so funny. But yeah, I realized how exhausted I was, even though she had a nap. I was able to like do a little bit of diamond painting, which was nice. So I did a bit of that while she slept. I kept coming, like looking over my shoulder because the couch is literally right behind me. Honestly, since I moved everything in here. Once we get our house back in order, I would love to be in the other room again. I don't know when that's going to happen though. But yeah, that was last Tuesday. Let's see. I'm gonna take another sip. I'm just trying to condense all this down because a lot of stuff actually happened. Let's see. What time is it? Okay. I guess I'm gonna actually cut it a little bit shorter, but I can talk about a little bit about this weekend, but because the kids been doing pretty well. All last week, they've been like I said, I talked about a little bit, like I had to get on to Nicole because she keeps promising that she's going to spend time with the kids, well, with her brother and sister, and then she turns around and goes to her friend's house when her friend calls, and we said you can't keep doing that kind of stuff, and it's not good. And she claims up now she didn't promise her brother and sister that. I'm like, we were in the car when you promised it. You don't say that. We heard you promise it. And then she gets sulky and everything like that. I get okay. One of the things. So this weekend was kind of a fun weekend. Hold on. Let me hold on. I'm since I'm like literally yeah, couch behind me, fridge is next to me. This is fun. Okay, hold on. So one of the things we had to do, I gotta make sure my kid's last name's not on this first. All right. So my son is in enrichment class, so I'm trying to make sure his last name's a little covered here. They had to do the skeleton hand and everything, and my goodness. So they traced their hand, and then they put like vegetable oil, so it's kind of like translucent, and when you put it up against a window or something like that. And okay, let me flip the page so that way you only just see his first name, but it's just like he has all this things about like about bones create a structure. Without bones, you'll be jelly. You have 200 bones, 3 bones in one finger, and bones let you bend. It's so cute. And then, goodness gracious, I'm coughing a lot. Then we got a Christmas tree for my kids. So they're already in the Christmas spirit, guys. Oh my gosh. So my son also did this one. Oh, look over here. We got bad guys presents. So we got Santa ornament that he wants over here, and then the presents, for the good kids, and then the bad guys have lumps of coal. Oh my goodness. And then like this weekend, one of the things we did, we got a Santa list. So Jana's handwriting could be a bit better, yeah, I know, but look, we got a Santa lollipop she wants, and then this is a Magic Mixie's cauldron, and then a crystal ball, and then she wants a Rainbow High doll as well. And then when we flip the page, we want a Santa cookie, and then a rainbow dress, and then a candy cane filled with Skittles. Half the things is just candy. I'm like, well, it's not all toys. And then the same thing with Michael is like, he wants like periodic puzzle, lollipops, cookies, and everything. Like, and then one expensive present he wants is like a Kirby game. It's so cute. I was just like, oh my goodness. And I blew their minds. Um, when I said I could probably take a picture of this and email it to Saint, they're like, "Oh, you could do that?" I'm like, "Of course I can." I'm like, "I can also send it to the North Pole if you want me to," and they want me to wait till Nicole writes her list out. So Nicole's kind of was like in the background rolling her eyes a little bit. I'm like, Nicole. But we've talked about what she wants and things. She wants to be more grown up about about some of her stuff. I asked her what some of her classmates have they want for Christmas or what they play with. She goes, they like dolls, but I don't really like dolls. I'm like, well, what kind of dolls? And she's like, Rainbow High, the grown-up LOL dolls, but I don't really like them. I'm like, well, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But we've kind of talked about it. We're gonna. I got her a couple. Well, not. I haven't got her anything. I got some things on my wish list that I'm gonna get her now. Because she's definitely doesn't want dolls anymore. Goodness. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm going to be okay here because I don't want to catch anything else. I heard that now instead of a nasty stomach flu, there's a nasty, there's an actual flu going around in RSV, and I'm like, I don't want it. You stay away from it. You do not pass that on to me. I don't want to get sick. No, thank you. But let's see. Anything else I can let you guys be aware of? Ooh, so, Michael and Jana, went to scoot around this weekend. I've been nursing a nasty headache. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's my implant that's in my mouth or it's causing it, because where it's located, it's towards the front of my mouth and it's near the sinus cavity. And I've been just having like slight headaches that's leading from the nose area up to it. And this weekend I was just like, I was having a really bad headache to the point where like I needed to keep resting my eyes a lot. So my husband was really sweet and took them out to go play, and he took them to the park. And for the first time in a long time, they've got to scoot around again because we packed up the scooters just so we could make room in the garage. But he pulled them out for them, and they got to scoot around. Nicole went to go visit her friend, of course. But yeah, he was really nice doing that, so that way I could rest my head. And he was telling me like that Michael's gotten a lot better scooting around. Usually it's Jana that's really good at scooting around. Instead it's now Michael, so it seems like they switched places. My goodness gracious. Oh, one of the things, I had to buy a new screwdriver, sewing machine screwdriver, because I'm missing it, and I found like this 4-pack for like $8. So I'm like, score, because I seen everyone using their tweezers to open this, and I tried that for a day or two, and I'm like, nope, I'm going to go and buy these things again. So if anyone wants to know what I use, I can send a link down below, because it's so much easier using this just to pop it open. I mean, like, it's meant for my sewing machine, but it's so much easier just to use that for that, because I don't want to break these nails. I know as vain as it sounds like, but it hurts after a while, and I just grew these back out. I know, it sounds a little vain. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see, letter E. Okay. But yes, we got them taking some fresh air, and it was a good thing, because this whole week is going to be kind of on the cold side now. I don't know if it's going to stay cold or anything like that, but I don't know. I'm just tired, and I'm ready. I'm ready for the cold, but I'm not ready for the cold, if that makes sense. And I'm already kind of can't believe that in a few weeks it's going to be Thanksgiving break, and I'm hoping that I can start doing a little bit of, I guess, Christmas shopping, because I really want to get, well, it just doesn't feel like Christmas here. Thankfully, I don't celebrate Christmas until the day after Thanksgiving. That's my whole thing. But the kids are like really digging into the let's sing Christmas songs to aggravate mommy, and I'm just like, I'm done with it. I don't want to do Christmas just yet. But we got rid of our Christmas tree last year after just because it's kind of getting old, and one of the things we were tired of was like having to, like, when we plug it in, we would have to do all the settings like it's right at the trunk of the tree, and it's not fun when you have presents already stacked underneath there, and you have to move the presents around to, like, change the settings, like, so we got rid of that. It lasted us, let's see, I want to say 8 years. So it was time. But I started looking around trying to find a new tree. But now it's like, well, where are we going to put it? Because I'm still located in the living room, and this is where we put the tree. It's either in these two corners, and we still haven't gotten them to fix the inside of the house. We've been like waiting. We were told that this was going to be the longest period. Like, we got approved for it, but they're now kind of taking their time on, scheduling us in to get the house repaired. And I'm like, I just want to get it fixed. I just want to be in the other room. I'm tired of being cold too, like the upstairs, because there's a hole and there's no insulation. It's cold. It's so cold in that room, guys. And it really does bring me back to like where I used to grow up, and I don't like those memories. I do not like those memories at all. But I'm hoping it be soon. But I know that one of the things I want to do is this next coming week is that I'm going to go and get a tree skirt, because we've never bought a tree skirt. What we've done is always use like one of the holiday blankets we have and wrap that around the tree. But the kids keep taking all the blankets now, so I don't think that's happening this year. So I'm going to get a tree skirt officially this year. And we were thinking, like, if the tree doesn't get put up, I mean, like, if we don't get our house fixed before Christmas, we're going to put it up in the office and just leave it in there instead. And it should be hopefully fine. We'll just, like, we'll drag stuff out on Christmas Day for everyone to open. But it's still opened enough where the kids can see the Christmas tree. And it'd be like one of the first times, well, if we open the blinds, people will see our tree for once. Because you can't see it in the living room, because we're like the way the house is located. But my mouth is actually is really sore right now. I'm gonna go rest it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want. Otherwise, like I said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!